come in and was going to talk to the students and people around the neighborhood.
Do you know who the guest speaker was?
I do.
And who was that?
It was Charlie Kirk.
Did you see Mr. Kirk that day?
I did.
When did you first see him?
When he arrived on campus, just behind the west side of the Hall of Flags, I saw him pull up.
And can someone access the courtyard through that area?
Yes, they can.
How so?
Where he pulled up underneath the Hall of Flags is a opening to where you could drive a car underneath. So there's access right there. You could walk or drive underneath the Hall of Flags.
And you saw him arrive?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what you were seeing? What did you observe?
On that day, I observed Charlie going back, doing some meet and greet with some people, getting some photos taken. He then came underneath the Hall of Flags and went to his tent, and he was there answering questions and talking to individuals that would ask him questions.
The tent you're referring to, is that the tent that we see when it was set up in the courtyard?
Yeah, that white square tent.
The white top?
Yes, he was under that.
Fast forward to about 12:20 or so a little bit after noon, the noon hour. What happened? What did you see and what did you hear?
I heard an individual talking to Charlie, and I happened to kind of glance over the edge of the railing about that time. I could see the right side of Charlie's shoulder, so not his whole body, because he was underneath the tent, so I could only see probably the right side of his body. He was answering a question, kid asked him a question, and then I heard a shot fired.
Do you know what time that was?
Yes.
What time was that?
12:23.
What did you see?
At that moment, I saw him lean to the left, so
When you say him, you see
Charlie.
Charlie?
So I saw him go to the left because I could no longer see the right side of his body. So he went further underneath the tent to the north side of the tent, so left.
Okay. Can you describe the reaction of others that were there?
Yeah, so then everybody started getting up and starting to run, and more of a chaos kind of situation.
Before you continue, can you describe a little bit? So you mentioned Mr. Kirk was answering questions, talking to individuals.
Yes.
Were there others present?
Yes.
Any idea about approximately how many? How would you describe it in your terms?
In my terms, I'd say when I was up there looking down, I'd say there were several thousand people, because you had it on the grass that was jam-packed, in the amphitheater sitting on the grass. You had people standing on the back up along the cement. You had people that were on the second level, the Sorensen, and over by the Woodbury building. There's another level there where a lot of people were standing and watching. So it was pretty packed. Okay. Several thousand people.
You mentioned you heard something. What did you hear again?
I heard a gunshot.
Okay. And can you describe you described Mr. Kirk's reaction? Was that simultaneous to hearing the gunshot?
Yes, it was.
When he fell to the left?
Yes.
Did you see the reaction from the crowd?
Yes.
What was that?
Everybody kind of got up. They all said, a lot of people were screaming, standing up, and starting to run in all different directions away from the center of the tent.
Okay. You're a police officer helping to secure the area, correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
At that moment, I recognized it as gunfire. I left my post, which was right there on the south end of the Hall of Flags. I proceeded to right where the Fugle and the Hall of Flags meet. There's some outside stairs that I was starting to run down. As I was trying to get down to the bottom of the stairs, people were running up, people were laying down on the steps. I'm trying to jump over people to get to the bottom of the stairs so I can help stop an individual that's probably shooting.
What happened next?
By the time I got to the bottom of the stairs, I was informed on the radio that we had a shooter in custody. So I thought at that moment, I was like, oh, that was kind of fast. Obviously, it was close range probably, because we had an individual in custody. Another officer came on and said we had an individual in custody. So I decided to, since the threat is gone, now I can assess for anybody that's injured and start looking for any medical needs that's needed at that moment. I started canvassing the area. As I canvassed the area, I was looking for anybody that was injured. I saw a kid on the ground that was on about the second or third tier in the grass next to a wheelchair, and he was almost convulsing. I thought he'd maybe been shot. Talked to the dad as I was running over there. He said that he was just having a seizure, that he was fine, he was not injured. So then at that moment, I observed that there was no other injuries that I could see at that moment.
Okay. Was your attention drawn to anything else at that time?
Yeah, so after we got some people kind of cleared away a little bit, I thought I needed to start preserving the scene because we had a crime scene. And with some of my experience and training and to that effect I decided now we need to contain the scene and help preserve as much evidence as we can. So I started pushing people off the grass, out of the courtyard area because I knew that's where the crime scene was. So as we started pushing those guys out, my chief, Chief Long, that was right next to me, I looked down and saw an empty pistol holder that was sitting just on top of the grass. And at that moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot.
And what causes you to say that?
Just from being around firearms through all my trainings, the difference is, a handgun is more of a short bang pop sound. With a rifle, you have more of a longer, violent bang or crackle sound. It's more of a violent kind of sound. It's longer, so that's why I recognized it.
Okay. Is a rifle sound louder typically?
Yes.
Okay. Going back to when you heard this gunshot, could you tell where it came from? As far as direction?
Yes, I knew it came from the east of me.
From the east of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see this realization comes to your mind. What did you do next?
At that moment when I saw the holster, the empty holster, I turned to my chief and I said, that was a rifle shot. And he said, I agree. And I looked up at that moment, right in the line of sight, I could see the Losee building had a direct line of sight. So I proceeded to go look at that and see what was going on up there.
Okay. Can you just briefly describe your route to the Losee Center?
So from the courtyard, you can go into the Sorensen Center, and like I said earlier, there was on level 1, there's some elevators or there's stairs. I ran up 4 flights of stairs, got to the 4th level of the Losee building, and proceeded to the south of the Losee building. There's some stairs, which is at breezeway between the computer science building and the Losee building. There's some stairs that go up to the top of that. And so I went to the top of that.
Is that the stairway that you previously described?
Yes, on the outside of the Losee building.
Okay. And it's a public stairway?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you make it to the rooftop?
I did.
Do you know about what time you got there?
I got up there at 12:44.
Okay. What did you do when you got on top?
When I got on top, I hopped over the guardrail. I noticed that there was an object which was sitting right about 10 or 15 feet in from the other side of the guardrail in the gravel. That looked out of place to me.
And in relationship to where you hopped over the guardrail, what direction was that object?
To the west of the guardrail.
Okay. And did you recognize the object?
I did.
And what was it?
It was a red and black screwdriver.
Okay. Did you touch that object?
I did not.
Okay. And I would ask for the witness to come down to explain the exhibit.
All right, officer, if you'd like to step down, use the microphone, and as previously noted, describe, when you're describing something on the image, where it is located on the image for the benefit of our recording.
So, officer, will you describe for the court what it is that you're looking at?
So what I'm looking at is I'm on the top of the Losee building, which is where the gravel is towards the bottom center. I'm looking west towards the tent, which is in the upper center, that you got a white tent. You can see the grass down there in the amphitheater. You got the Hall of Flags that's more towards the top center, and behind that you've got I-15. But what I'm looking at is in the disturbance of the gravel is what I saw that day.
Okay, and what can you describe for the record that disturbance?
To me, when I got up there and I could see this disturbance of gravel, to me it looks like a sniper pad, a person that has been laying in a prone position, and you've got markings of elbows, knees, and feet to where somebody was in the line of sight of where Charlie's tent was.
Thank you. And if we could, again, take the, if we could publish State's Exhibit number 2. You recognize that, right, officer?
Yes, I do.
Where on the Losee rooftop did you observe this disturbance in the gravel?
If you go to the
Can you
center
point
of the
to that?
picture, if you go to the center of the picture in the darker gray part of it, on the left side, so the south side of the Losee building, it would be right in the line of sight of the Charlie Kirk tent that's straight in front of it,
Okay,
or the southwest side of the roof.
thank you. You can take your seat. And finally, I would direct the witness's attention to State's Exhibit number 5 on the monitor. Let me know when that's there.
It is.
It is
Yes.
there. Do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
And what is that?
This is going to be a picture of the side profile of that last photo we looked at with some red or orange markers and a number 2 with also a tape that's there on top of the Losee building.
What was that tape that you said?
There's a measuring tape, it looks like.
Okay. Are you able to tell which direction the photographer was facing?
Yes,
And what direction is that?
it's facing south.
This is a nighttime photograph, correct?
Yes,
Do you know who took this picture?
I do.
And who took the picture?
It was Melissa Richards.
The same individual that you spoke about before?
Yes.
Did you ask her whether this is a fair and accurate depiction of what she observed
Yes.
that night?
Yes.
What did she say?
She said it was.
With respect to what you observed that day, apart from the evidence tag, the yellow tag, as well as the orange or red markers, is this a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed?
Yes.
What's different about what you observed as far as what's on the photograph, the previous exhibit, compared to this?
You can see more of the length of an individual. So you can see that there's 2 elbows, 2 knee areas, plus also towards the far right of the photo is also a marker where like somebody laid a gun down.
Okay.
It's like a prone position.
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 1102 as well as other, officer, upon seeing this disturbance in the gravel, you've described what it looked like to you?
Yes.
Someone lying down in a prone position, correct?
Yes.
What did you do next?
So when I got to the top of the Losee building during that day, I noticed a screwdriver, kept going to the edge, found that prone position. At that moment, I realized, because it was direct line of sight, plus the disturbance in the gravel, where I could see somebody laid down in a prone position or a sniper position, and asked dispatch to get on the then I realized that we probably didn't have our shooter in custody. From that moment, I asked dispatch to get on the camera system and to see if anybody was on top of the Losee building during the time of the incident.
Were you advised of anything?
I was. Dispatch came back and advised me that there was a male individual on top of the roof that was there at the time of the shooting.
Did they describe what his movements were?
They did. They stated that he ran to the edge, dropped down, crawled, got in a prone position.
I'm going to stop you right there. Ran to the edge. What direction and what edge?
Running west and southwest of the Losee building, so ran towards the tent of where Charlie Kirk was, so they could get a line of sight. And then the individual stood up after the shooting and ran northeast on the top of the Losee building.
Okay. You mentioned that this individual on the video dropped off the edge. Did you get that?
I haven't
far?
mentioned that.
Oh, what happened? What else was described to you?
Then, well, at that moment, so I knew that there was possibly a shooter on the run.
Your Honor, can we just have a continuing objection to all of the hearsay that's being testified to here?
And Judge, my response to that was I'm not actually offering this for the truth of the matter asserted at this point, simply for the effect on the hearer. So I'm not offering what's been described in the video as substantive evidence.
All right. Ms. Nestor, with that clarification, any thoughts?
I'll just stand on the objection. I don't think, I mean, he's clearly offering it for the truth because he's asking him to describe the route of the individual and it's based on what other people told him. So if he wants to circle back to it after he's put the video in, I mean, we could do that. But right now, I still think it's inappropriate hearsay, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Grunander?
I'll submit it to the court.
All right, so as the magistrate, as this is not to a jury, it's to myself as a magistrate, I am not accepting that statement for the truth of the matter asserted, simply for what has been stated. So I'm specifically making that finding as I'm receiving this evidence, and I'm not accepting it for the truth of the matter asserted, only as represented by Mr. Grunander. And with that, the objection is overruled. Mr. Grunander, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So you mentioned,
We got to ask this now. Did you use AI to help you prepare your report?
I did not.
Okay, good. When you prepared your report, you referenced when you first heard the shot, don't you?
Yes.
And what is the time that you say that you heard the shot?
12:23.
Right. And when you wrote that report, you did not state in your report the direction you heard that shot come from, did you?
No, apparently not.
And take your time and look at the whole report and see if there's anywhere in there where you ever mentioned that it came from the east or to your right.
I don't see his direction.
Okay. And you also, I believe, in your report, you also don't state whether or not, you don't mention anything about thinking it came from the Losee building or anything like that, right?
Later on, when I recognized when I saw the empty holsters, I think I actually said that in there, where I see the empty holster, that I realized the line of sight.
Okay. So let's talk about that holster for a minute. So you heard the shot, and you only heard one shot, correct?
Yes.
And then you came down from the walkway above the tent, right?
Yes.
And you came down to really the grassy area that we've all been looking at, the courtyard.
Yes.
And there was kind of chaos, people running around.
Yep.
Yes. And while you were down there, you saw what you said was an empty holster.
Yeah, as I was clearing people out and making sure that the evidence was preserved, about towards the top, after a little bit, I saw an empty holster sitting there.
And when you say towards the top, can you be specific and tell us where you were?
So on the south side in the courtyard, there's some tiers of seating where the grass is different levels, and it was towards the top, maybe just right before the cement is where everybody's standing. So there's different levels. It's towards the top on the grass.
And when you saw the holster, can you describe to me what it looked like?
An empty concealed holster
For what type of
for
weapon?
a pistol.
Okay. And did it have any markings on it?
I didn't even know, not that I noticed.
And what happened to that holster?
I have no idea.
Did you ever take custody of it?
Nope.
Did you ever tell anyone else to take custody of it?
Nope.
You just left it on the grass?
I did.
Was it ever fingerprinted to your knowledge?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. You mentioned that as you were coming down into the grassy area from the top above the tent, you come down the Hall of Flags, you come into the grassy area. You mentioned that you heard, I guess on your radio, that they had a suspect in custody.
Yes.
And so how long do you think between the shot being fired did you hear that?
I was in, like I said, trying to get down the stairs, jumping over people, trying not to step on people as people were fighting up. Within 30 seconds, maybe.
Right. So they pretty much instantly had someone in custody.
Yes, and that's why I was quite surprised.
Were you aware of where the person was taken into custody?
Right down by where Charlie Kirk was sitting by his tent, somewhere down there.
So in the courtyard area, the person would have been in the courtyard area at the time of the shooting.
Yes.
Was that person in or near or around the holster in any way?
No.
You don't know?
No, what he wasn't. Where the
you
holster was up on the top level up there, and it was where when the incident happened, when Charlie got shot. Within seconds, the other officer that was down by him said that he was in custody with a prisoner of the shooter. So have been
So
within right there.
you didn't, at that time, it was your understanding the person they took into custody was close by Mr. Kirk, is that right?
Yep.
But it didn't occur to you that, well, that's not where I heard the shot come from. They must have the wrong person. I should talk to somebody.
During the chaos moment, no. They said they had a person in custody. I figured those guys saw something I didn't see. They took the person in custody, and I thought that was him.
Okay. This would be a good stopping place because I'm about to start another section. Saw the Losee building and it occurred to you should go check it out.
Yes, it was right in my line of sight.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole time that this is going on, you had an active body camera on your, I guess your collar, is that right?
I was right here on my
Your
chest, yes.
Okay, and it was on.
Yes.
And it appears to me from reviewing your body camera that there was another individual who was with you that went to the Losee building who was in civilian clothing but appeared to have a gun. Who was that?
I don't know who he was exactly. He had a badge on, and I had somebody with me to back me up as I ran up the stairs to make sure I had somebody with me.
So you don't know what agency he's from or where he's from?
No.
And it looked like he had a pistol.
Yes.
Is that right?
A handgun, yes.
Or a handgun.
Yeah.
And so the two of you go to the Losee building.
Yes.
When you reviewed the videotape at the police department later, did you check to see if anyone had been on the Losee building after the shooting, after this individual had jumped off that you've already talked about? Was there anybody else on the roof? Did you check and see in that gap of time?
In that gap of time, no. So once I put up the barrier, I only walked up to about that point, then I went down and reviewed the video from that moment on.
So are you able to say for one way or the other if anyone else had been on that roof in between when the person jumped off the building and when you came on the roof? Are you able to say one way or the other?
There was people up there looking for an individual that ran that way, because when I first got told the individual ran heading north, that we didn't know where the shooter was, so we started climbing up and clearing the building. And then it wasn't until I went to the PD and actually saw him jump off of the building that I knew he was off the building.
Let me rephrase that because I think I either asked it badly or you misunderstood me. So let me go back again. So from the time that the individual that you spotted on the video jumped off the roof, right? The individual that you thought was in the prone position.
Okay.
Between that and when you got on the roof, did you ever check to see if anybody else had been on the roof in that period of time?
Yeah, and I didn't see anybody.
So you
I
did
didn't
watch?
notice anybody. Yeah.
You didn't, did you look on the video to see that entire, okay, that's what I'm asking. So you did not review the video to see if there was someone between you, that individual jumping off and you coming on, if anybody had been on or disturbed
No.
that scene in any way? Okay. But once you put the tape up, then we're confident from that point on the scene was preserved, right? By the way, where did you get that tape?
Officers responded on the scene that he was down on the bottom and threw it up to me, so
Okay. So you didn't have it on you?
no,
And you didn't leave the scene to go get it?
no,
Someone threw it up?
yes.
Great. All right. While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no, that's why when I saw the prone position where a person would be laying down as a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. I was looking over the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be, the reason you would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right? Some
Yes.
do, some don't.
Yes.
All right. And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets?
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof? in
I'm
the
not aware.
Vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Losee building?
No.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it, I don't know, what do you have to do, charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic running around.
So that 27-minute and 35-second body cam that starts when you're at the Hall of Flags and ends while you're still on the roof, but haven't put the crime tape up yet, that's the only body cam you have that day?
Yes.
Right. You mentioned when you went to the police department, you watched the video where you saw an individual up on the roof,
Yes.
right? And that individual was in the vicinity where you saw the disturbance in the gravel.
Yes.
And when you looked at that video, were you able to identify the individual's face?
I know.
Were you able to identify any markings on their clothing?
I know.
Were you able to identify their height?
No.
When we looked at the picture of the, I think you called it the sniper perch, so I'm going to use your words. It looked like there was a measuring tape laid out next to it. Were you present when they measured like the distance, like how tall that person would have been?
I was not.
So you don't know what that is?
I don't.
Were you able to tell the person's weight from the video that you saw?
I can tell he wasn't heavy set. So
Okay.
More of a skinnier person.
Could you identify what shoes they were wearing?
I could not.
Could you identify anything about a hat or what was on their head?
Not at the moment, no, I couldn't.
Okay. And did you see a gun in the video?
I saw a long black object in the left hand as he was running across the roof.
And in fact, did you describe that in your report as a bag?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know why.
All right, let's pull that report back up, please. At the end of that day, what time did you leave the campus?
I was probably like 9 o'clock that night, maybe somewhere around there.
And did you come back the next morning and work some more?
I came back the next morning, yes.
And you worked all day the next day?
On and off.
When you left at 9 p.m., did you or anyone else know who the shooter was on that day?
I know. Not that I know of.
And when you came back the next morning and worked that afternoon, all that day, did you or anybody on that campus know who the shooter was?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So nothing that you found that day or anyone else to your knowledge on campus was able to identify who the shooter was?
And that day, no.
Right.
Well, during the time I was there, no, that I knew of.
I also want to talk to you about that giant picture that was showed to you.
And an afternoon break.
I think it'd be a great idea, Judge. I've just got one last question.
All
if I
right.
could,
You may.
with respect to the medical examiner's report. Agent Hull, in that report, does the doctor relate cause and manner of death?
He does, yes.
Okay. And in that report, what is the stated cause of death
It was stated as a murder.
and manner of death?
It was a gunshot wound to the neck.
I
me
object,
one
it's
second.
not stated as a murder. I believe it's stated as a homicide, which is an important distinction.
Judge, I'll go back and correct that.
All right, so I'm going to sustain, well, first of all, let me look at the report. I need to see that section. I need to be able to draw my own conclusion. So, okay, I see, Ms. Nestor, are you referring to page 1 of this report?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, could you repeat that? I apologize.
As it relates to your objection for the misstatements, are you looking at page 1 of the report?
Yes.
All right. So
And, Your Honor, I also need to make an objection on the best evidence rule, too. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to sustain the objection as it relates to the manner of death. It does not say murder, but in regards to the best evidence rule, again, under 1102 and the Utah Constitution that it permits reliable hearsay, it is, State's Exhibit 11 is admitted. Mr. Sturgill.
Agent Hull, I'm going to ask you to look at the first page of Exhibit 11. No?
Yes.
You see
I
that?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you again, and you can look at it.
Yeah.
And would you mind relating what the doctor reports as the manner of death?
Yes, I misspoke. It does say homicide.
And then the immediate cause of death?
Gunshot wound of the neck.
Nothing further, Judge. Well, at this moment, I think it'd be a great watch that first day on the 10th.
It would be in the tens or hundreds of hours of video was reviewed.
Okay. Did anything else come along that helped you identify who that shooter might be?
Eventually on the evening of the 11th, we received word from Washington County that an individual in that area had reached out to law enforcement and was wanting to turn themselves in for the incident at UVU.
Okay. And did you, at that point in time, did you receive a name from Washington County?
Yes, we did.
And what was that name?
Tyler Robinson.
What, if anything, did you do with that information, the name Tyler Robinson?
That information was given to our SIAC, or our State Information and Analysis Group, and they put together what would be called a workup. So they would look at driver's license records, DMV records to determine addresses, obtain pictures of individuals, and then any associated vehicles or things like that.
So was that done with Mr. Robinson?
It was, yes.
Driver's license record was pulled.
Yes.
Did that include, if you remember, or do you know, did that include a photograph of Mr. Robinson?
It did include a photograph of Mr. Robinson, yes.
How about an address and date of birth?
There was an address and a date of birth, and I believe a DMV record with an associated vehicle.
All right. And so that DMV record did include a vehicle that was associated with Mr. Robinson?
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember what the make and model of the vehicle was that was tied to Mr. Robinson?
The Dodge Challenger.
Anything else beyond that you remember?
It was silver in color, and I believe there were two registered owners of the vehicle.
Okay. And who were the registered owners?
Mr. Robinson and then his mother.
Do you recall whether or not a date of birth was included in that driver's license information?
Your Honor, we have objections to its admissibility. This is a compilation video that was put together from a bunch of different sources by the county attorney's office. This individual did not create this compilation, can't testify to the accuracy of the actual materials that it was taken from. And furthermore, Mr. Olson himself is just referred to by Agent Hall. He specifically says people have altered these recordings. They've zoomed in when the actual recording isn't zoomed. They've added little circles to people they want you to pay attention to. They've blurred people's faces out. So, I mean, it's been clearly altered. And it's not, I mean, they admit it's been altered. So we have real concern about authenticity of it. Furthermore, this particular video should be protected. And so that deals with the admissibility factor. As far as the publication factor of it, the video should be classified as protected under UCJA 4-202.02 subsection 5, J as in jelly bean, and then little I and little double I, because this is going to interfere with the defense's ongoing investigation, with Mr. Robinson's ability to get a fair trial. This is basically putting together photos that are clear with photos that aren't clear, putting them all together in such a format that it makes the case that it's all one person. It would be extremely prejudicial for people that may ultimately serve on this jury to watch this video before this case goes to trial. We don't believe a proper foundation's been laid, which would make it admissible at this point. So the fact that it would be shown to the public would be extremely damaging to the ability to put on a defense at trial. And so we object to its publication both in the courtroom and to the media, Your Honor.
Mr. Sturgill.
Judge, Ms. Nestor is correct. This is a compilation of...
Do you have a version of this video that does not have alterations, such as zooming or circling? My concern is that if the 1102 says what it says about the videos, these were the videos.
Right.
But then it was altered. And typically an exhibit which has been altered, and if it wasn't done by the person who supplied the 1102, that can become problematic. And so do you have a version of this exhibit that does not have the zooming in or the circling? Again, I don't know all the alterations that were made, but that seems to fall outside the 1102 because you don't have a person testifying 1102 saying, I made the alterations.
Right.
And so that's the concern of the state of what Ms. Nestor was talking about as it relates to the state's evidence. I have that concern about those alterations. I don't know when they were made, what they were made, how much was done to manipulate the video. And I say manipulate to, not saying it in a nefarious way, but I don't know what the scope of that is and how much it deviates from what was the original form.
Well, Judge, to answer your first question, do we have a version of this particular video that has not been altered? We don't, not right now, not today. I guess there's a couple of things I'd simply like to point out, Judge, and that is that we have two witnesses who have watched the raw footage. And Agent Hull here today on the stand and Mr. Olson in the form of his written statement, they have both said that this video, with the exception of these alterations, accurately depicts the video that was captured by UVU surveillance video. Judge, I will proffer that those changes made to the video were not done by either. I know who that person is. We could actually call that person as a witness if that would cure that. And we're prepared to do that if necessary. But Judge, I think that our burden is to simply authenticate, what this is. And it is a video that, with only a few exceptions, alterations, that really don't change the substance of the video or the content of the video. They're accurate. They depict what the cameras captured on September 10th and the 11th. And we have two people who have seen that raw footage and they've explained that's the only difference between what we have originally in the original videos and what you're seeing here today. And the additions, I will submit, Judge, were only added to make it easier to view.
All right. Anything further from the parties?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm sustaining the objection. Typically, when exhibits are admitted to the court, it is without alteration. If a party circles an exhibit, a photograph, that's not the original format, and I do not have the person who made the alteration, an 1102, to substantiate that. And what I have is the original video, and Mr. Olson saying, this is the video minus the alterations. And we have Agent Hull saying, this is the video and there are alterations, but I'm missing a link. And it may be minor, but in this type of case, I want to be thorough. And I want to make sure that what is minor is still important. And for those reasons, I'm going to sustain the objection and leave it to the parties on how you wish to handle the video in the future. I don't want to provide guidance either way.
Right.
But as it stands today, this exhibit, State's Exhibits 12.1 is not admitted.
Okay. Judge, could I have just one moment?
You may.
And I don't believe that I allowed you to do that.
Okay.
Would you do that right now?
Your Honor, just for the record, we would impose an objection based on the 14th Amendment for due process due to an unduly suggestive in-court ID. Also, we believe there's a lack of foundation establishing his ability to interpret the surveillance video. And based on that, we would object.
All right. I note that, well, to the state, do you wish to be heard on what was just stated?
Well, Judge, I think we had this discussion, and I think you ruled on that specific objection. And then after you ruled, I just neglected to come back and follow through with the question and the answer. That's my recollection of the bench meeting.
I believe I stated for the purposes of this hearing that identification by Agent Hull of Mr. Robinson was made. I could be wrong, but
Well, and I just wanted to clarify that, Judge, because there was some question about whether that in fact did happen. And so if that's your recollection of what happened, and if you're willing to put on the record that Agent Hull has identified the defendant, I think we're done.
does the defense want to be heard?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Of course.
No, Your Honor.
Well, if for the benefit of the record and for thoroughness, if you wish to re-ask that question, you certainly, well, we can see what happens.
If I could, Judge, I'd like to. Would you please point him out and identify something that he is wearing?
Yeah, I believe that Mr. Robinson is between Miss Nestor and other counsel wearing a grey suit, jacket with a dark tie, and a light-colored shirt.
Judge, I would ask that the record reflect that Agent Hull has identified the defendant.
I have no, I mean, I made my objection already.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
No, thank you,
All
Your Honor.
right. For the purposes of this hearing, I find that Agent Hull has identified Mr. Robinson. Again, this is only for the preliminary hearing. You may proceed.
Judge, I think for today, with Agent Hull,
Well, Agent, well, we're
Well,
going
let
to
me-
resume with Mr. Hall tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning, and let me explain and I was going to explain this, but let me explain why. Judge, our intent is to prepare an original version of the video that has been in dispute today, without the circles, without the blur, and without the zooming in. And our intent is to introduce that tomorrow as a different exhibit. And we just can't prepare that in the next hour or so. So we're going to need this evening to prepare that exhibit. And we'd like to return with that. Judge, what I would also suggest, well, let me get your take on that, Judge.
All right. Does the defense wish to be heard about ending for the day? We have about 19 minutes until 5 o'clock. What is the defense?
Your Honor, we're happy to accommodate the state on that.
All right. So for today, Agent Hall, you may